Hi everyone, Emma here. I have been having so much fun doing these bracelets. I started out with this one here with this big slider, which is like a faux pearl, and then some gemstones around, and I just did this netted weave and then added the 4mm pearls. So I went from and then just added the magnetic clasp. So I did a video on this one, but I've been trying to think what else can I put on this. I did do a few, one with a champagne, and let me see if I have that one somewhere here. Yeah, so I have the gold with the pink 4mm pearls, and this was just a straight bracelet, no slider or anything, and that turned out really nice. And then I did this one with the champagne pearls, and this look amazing. Both the pink pearls and the champagne look amazing. This one I put a toggle clasp. I did find it was a little it's a little hard to kind of grab, but I made this for my nieces, so they should have no problem with that. So you kind of have to get it straight and then pop it in. So maybe the next time I'll add more length to it to get the toggle through. So there's those three. Then I thought I had these sliders that I got at Michael's. These were their summer clearance. So they come 3 of these strung, and they were $2.50 plus 50% off of that, so $1.25 for 3 of these. And there is the holes at the ends, so you can use them as sliders on a bracelet this way. So that's what I did. So here's the one I made. Now I made this one for myself, so it's quite small, really tiny, and I miscalculated the length here, so one side's smaller than the other. I don't know if you can see that. So this one I added, I think, 2 sections to this other side. You can't see it when it's on your wrist. You can not tell at all that it's one side's bigger than or longer than the other. And I just put the magnetic clasp. Now I did find, I love these little tiny magnetic clasps, but I did find that they are, when I have this on, and if I'm taking a top off or a sweater, if it gets hooked, it actually comes apart pretty easily and falls on the floor. So I would suggest maybe a bigger clasp, magnetic clasp. I do have some, but I feel like I'd rather do the smaller and just be careful with it, because I mean, here's my fingers. It takes quite a bit to get it off. So I started. Now this one I'm going to make for somebody with a 7 and a bit inch, maybe 7 1/4 inch wrist. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 on each side. So this is one side, and then you'll have the spacer bead, or that spacer slider on, and I'll attach those at the end. So I am just finishing up with the other side, so I thought I'd just, finish it up with you and see how everybody's doing. We had some excitement last night. I was making caramel corn for gifts for the neighbors, and so with the caramel corn, you melt the butter and the sugar and the corn syrup in a pot and get it to like a high heat to make that kind of caramelized candy effect that you're going to put on. I only have 3 there. I need 4 on on the popcorn, and then once you pour that on the popcorn, you like spread it out in a pan, and let's see if I can get rid of this tail here. Yeah, so then you spread it on and you stick it in the oven at about 250 or 300 degrees and for 15 minutes, and you do this for an hour, and every 15 minutes you take it out and you turn it, so that what it does is it remelts the caramel, and then you spread it around so it coats everything, and then it also makes it so that it's hard and crunchy when it's done. So I already had one batch in the oven, and I was doing the second batch, and I saw a big flash on the stove, and all the power in the house went out, and yeah, so our stove, so the elements on the stove are working, but the oven's not. So those two batches of popcorn, caramel corn, are, I didn't taste it because I'm doing keto, but my wife says it tastes good. She says it's a bit chewy, but she said it's still delicious. Like, oh gosh. The reason I give it out as gifts is because they go on about how good this caramel corn is, but I'm like, it's not very good if it's chewy. It's supposed to be crunchy. So we got up early this morning and went to the appliance store to buy a new stove. So our stove, like the stove that we initially had when we, I gotta go through these guys. When we moved in, our house was a new stove, but it was an inexpensive one, and it was on its way out. And when our neighbors did their renovation, they renovated their kitchen, they offered their old stove to us. So we were like, yeah, sure. So yeah, and I didn't realize that stove was like 18 years old. So yeah, it was time to get a new stove. So needless to say, there will be no turkey dinner. Now, we weren't planning a turkey dinner anyway. Since I've been doing keto, unless I plan a cheat and do like a big meal, there's no point. I mean, we could still do a turkey, no problem, if we had an oven. So right now, we spent a lot of money to buy a new stove, and it won't be delivered till January 2nd. So I'll be cooking chicken in a fry pan for us for the next couple of weeks. Not a big deal. But yeah, we have a bad luck when it comes to appliances around Christmas. When we first moved in here, we had to renovate the house. It had been abandoned. The lady who owned the house before us had passed away, and it had been abandoned for 3 years. And the appliances she had were, I don't know how old, but they were green, like colored. So you can imagine that style when that was in, what it was like. But anyway, they still worked, so we had those. We were waiting for delivery on the new appliances. But we had to renovate the kitchen. So I remember New Year's Eve just finishing up painting the kitchen, but I couldn't move the stove back into its spot because the paint was still wet. And we were so exhausted. We were like, let's go to just down the road. There was a fish and chip restaurant that was kind of a famous restaurant, and it was they were going to be serving their last meal, I guess, closing at 7, and this was like 6:45. So we managed to be clean enough, presentable enough to go into a restaurant and have fish and chips for dinner for New Year's Eve. But yeah, crazy stuff around Christmas in this house. Well, we moved into this house in November as well. So that's kind of a weird time to be moving in, but we we had been searching for a house for a year, and we were actually getting ready to give up when this house, there was an open house for it, and we stopped in. We weren't expecting anything, and once we got in the house, even though it needed a lot of work, the size of it was amazing, and the price was awesome. So we lucked out. But the housing market's going crazy right now, especially here. Stuff sells, our neighborhood stuff sells within a week anyway. We're right close to the Air Force Base, and we get a lot of families that have been relocated, and so the turnover is really quick. But yeah, the rest of Halifax is, for some reason, housing is going crazy, selling really quick and for high prices. So this is the last one of these. And I've been avoiding this tail. I did have a stop bead on it, but I find once I get going and there's some tension in it that I don't really need a stop bead anymore. And I just find it gets in the way. So now what I'm going to do is, just to secure this area, I'm going to go up and around, and then I'm going to position my needle and thread over here, and we're going to start adding the, these are, I think, Ado Miyuki's rounds, and they're really kind of big and round, so they might be 6s. They were in a different bag, and I've changed them out. I guess I bought it a couple of times. So they're like a turquoise with a patina on it. So I'm just gonna go around here, these two. And I've been practicing this and working on my tension. I feel my tension's a little better, although I think I could probably tighten it a little bit, but I'm leery. I used to be really tight with my tension before, so I'm kind of leery about doing that. Okay, make sure I'm in the right beads on the other side. So there. Okay. Move that out of the way. That. So this is the fun part, putting these beads in. So in the others I use 4mm pearls, but I kind of like this color, and I was thinking about this kind of Southwest style like this, and it does look really nice. Initially I was going to use some turquoise beads, but I find they're kind of plain. These are nice. It's got the luster on it. So you just come out that side there and go up these 2 beads. And you just do that all the way along and pop that in that spot like that. Okay. Pull it a little tight. Not too tight, because it will kind of start to curl your end. And I try and find the really fat beads. So you can see there's one here that's skinny, and then the fat one. So we'll put that skinny one over, and then go up like this. So yeah, that was, and we also, I mean, I was in the car, my wife went into Walmart and picking up last minute things. It's getting pretty crazy here, but I guess they have a lot of cashiers, so she said it went through pretty quick. Oh, and I got some stuff from Michael's. So I was trying to take advantage of their 30% off coupons. And I find for one trip, it's like I always get a regular priced item and use a 30% off coupon. Anytime I go, if there's a sale on something else, I make sure to get something that's not usually on sale, like a tool or something like that. So this time I got one of those sticky mats. And I'll show you these. Let me turn it around here. It's a beadsmith, and it's a sticky mat. There's the picture. So that was I think $6 with the coupon, and that's Canadian. And then I got this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let me pull this out. I put one of my tools on it. It's a tool stand. That was $5.50. So I am gonna go ahead and sand the corners, and this one fits really nicely on it, but this is quite a big tool. But I find some of the tools that have this wire in the middle, it doesn't sit properly. So I think what I might do is put some little notches in there, and then I'm gonna varnish it and clean it up so I can have it on my desk. But that was a great price, so $5.50, and both of those I used coupons on, so that's what the corner looks like. Those I did on pickup, so again I didn't have to go in the store. We were, my wife was talking about how much we spent on the stove, and the first thought I had was, that's a lot of beads. And then as we're driving home, she's like, yeah, that would have been a lot of beads. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's starting to think the way I think. So yeah, this is the fun part. It's but you can see how it moves when I pull it, so just make sure you keep like straightening it out so that you don't over tighten it. But you still want it tight enough so that they're snug in those spots. And I try and pull, just be careful, they get hooked on the bead next to them. Just make sure you pull. And I'm going to hang on to that. It's driving me nuts that, you know, I'm still trying to figure things out, and I've tried to put a smaller tail, and then I end up where I need the tail, and I'm wishing I had longer tail. So then I go and put a longer one, and then it's like in the way. That maybe leaving the stop bead on it because it's heavy will bring the thread down. So yeah, let's just keep sure you only get one of those. And you could put any color bead in here. And here's another one I'm going to try. Ooh, that one looks kind of funky. Oh, I missed going through those two beads. Hopefully when I go through it will zip it up. These guys, these are like a color mix. And I'm just looking. I remember when I got these, I made like just a straight stretch bracelet. They were so much fun. So yeah, that would look cool. Colorful. So it's kind of endless. So now I'm kind of always looking for these slider elements. I have some pink ones of those. And they were still on the card that they're strung on from Michael's. But I looked everywhere. I couldn't find it. I try to organize stuff and then I misplace them. Just gonna move this down a bit. I feel like that's getting in the way too. Yeah, you can see it's curling down a bit, so just straighten it out. Oops. Like that. And I'll show you when I turn the corner what it's like, and then I'll finish this up and we'll put it together. So I was hoping to do a video yesterday. I'm going to get a bigger one. I was hoping to do a video yesterday, but we had our first day at the gym after the latest lockdown, and yeah, I was tired by the end. Both of us were super tired. So I'm off to the gym today for a swim. And the swim that I do is a 2-kilometer swim, so it's pretty intense swimming for an hour. And I always find that swimming makes me really tired. I don't know if it's the water. It's probably the water, because the water's cold. And it's funny because it actually feels better when it's cold when you're swimming, because you start to build up heat really quickly. Okay, so now I'm in the corner here, but I want to bring my thread and needle in this corner to do the same as I did on the other side. So I am going to thread around this way. And again, that kind of creates some, just making sure I got the right beads. So I'm going straight across both sets of 2s like that, and it gives it a little structure. That's what I wanted to say, like that. And then down these 2, and now I am set up for the corner there, so like that. And you know, I'm not going into detail with this because this is you can find this netting design online, that the videos are a lot better and the people are a lot more experienced than I am. This is just an idea to give you some options on how to change it up and do. And then these, like this bracelet took me, I don't know, half an hour to do. Like when I'm doing this by myself, sitting on the couch with my bead tray, it goes really quick. It's trying to do this on camera with my arms around the tablet is a little harder, although this is actually not too bad. So again, make sure it doesn't get tangled, and you can see how it's starting to create some structure is the word I'm looking for. And you can see I'm already getting low on thread. This is annoying. Probably what will end up happening is I'll get to about here, and then I'll take my tail and go the other way to add these beads. So like I said, I'm still learning to figure out how much thread to put on. So that, and dealing with a lot of thread. What I do when I make a bracelet that's similar to this, I will do 2.5 wingspans, and then I will half that, put my stop bead in the halfway mark, and then roll up the thread that I'm not working on, and you know, leave it at the stop bead spot, and work my bracelet with that. And then when I run out of thread, then I untangle the other and go the other way. So usually I'll get the base done and then I have to add use the other thread for, say, the beads. So we're going to see what's happening here. So I have two there, two there. I think what it is I didn't go through these two. So I think what I'll do is see if I can, maybe putting the bead on will bring it together. I might have to go through it, go around to, I think I will go around here to kind of connect these. And yeah, you can see I'm already getting low on thread here. Okay, I'm going to go through these two and leave it loose enough. And yeah, do it like that. So I'll put one more bead on and then I will change my thread. There, that kind of worked. You find a big one. And through here. So I am gonna end my thread. I like to end my thread in the middle. I don't think it matters. Let me tighten that a bit. And I think I might go down to hide it. So I'm going to go down one. Make sure you're not tangled. There. So that one's nice and secure. And then I'm going to just put a knot in here. I mean, it does make it harder to get through. See where best. Let's go through here. Yeah. Like that. And then just go through these guys. Easy peasy. Take that out. And look at this. Now I can use this end. So a few people mentioned about using these collapsible needles. That's great because it's so much easier threading. Okay. I think I'm going to go around. I don't like going right to the, oh, this is pulling it out. So I do have to stay in that. So you know what, let me go down 2 and over. Actually, I could probably go, no, I don't want to use up my thread. Let's go this way. Untangle that. So hopefully I get some deliveries today. I cannot believe I've probably got, I have at least, I have 3 orders. Okay, so now I'm at the corner here. So it's kind of backwards actually. I should be on this corner. Let's go back here. You know what? No, that's gonna, I think I'm gonna come in this corner. Like that. So that I do this. and we'll make sure that that gets our shape back there. Yeah, so I have 3 orders from Art Beats, big ones. 2 orders of Swarovskis, massive ones. And one or 2, I can't remember now, from Scara Beads. I have to double check that. And then tons of stuff from AliExpress. But I'm finding now that I'm pretty well done with shopping. That could be famous last words. The odd thing from AliExpress that's like certain clasps and stuff like that, things to finish a bracelet that I need specific stuff. But so there, that's the other strand. And you can see kind of it rounds down a bit, so I just pull it. This stuff stretches a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do another knot here. Make sure you're not around your bead when you're doing that. You could put a second knot, but I find this stuff so easy that you really don't need to. Like it doesn't pull out kind of thing. Let's do that. Get rid of these threads. And my tool, my thread burner, didn't have the cap on, or the cap fell out. I had this on the couch and it got knocked over, and this here was all smashed in. I can't believe it must have landed on it. It was all smashed in, so I gently moved it, and just at the last spot, this side here came off. You can kind of see it's just touching the metal. I don't have anything to solder with, so I don't know. Like, I know you can order these just come off. And it's so funny when I've seen these on sale, and I'm like, oh, why would you ever need that? I knew as soon as I had that thought that I would be jinxed. So now I have to buy another one. So I managed to, like, as long as it's touching the metal, it will still make the connection, the electrical connection. So it's working. But, I mean, how long is that going to work for? Oh, let's see there, it's not working now. I have to be careful. There we go. It's sticking out a bit. But I don't want to touch the other threads. There. Saw the smoke, it's working. My cap doesn't fit properly, that's why it fell off. That's my excuse. So these are the 2. So we're going to add a slider and the magnet. So I'm just going to pause this right now. It's time to go swimming. I gotta wake up my wife. But I'll do this when we get back, and hopefully there'll be packages to open. Take care, everybody, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. We had a nice swim, although we were a couple of minutes late for the swim, so I felt kind of hurried. Because with the COVID, we only have an hour in the pool, and we usually do a certain amount of distance. Okay, so I'm going to attach these guys to this. I think I'm going to add, because this is an oval and the holes are on the side, to make it kind of even, I think I'm going to add 1 11/0 on each side of the opening. So I've got a different needle here. I think I will. I'm trying to decide how I want that 11-0 to sit. I tied my, did a knot and put my thread through. So I'm coming up through the middle. So let me go down this way. Like that. Add an 11-0 to there. Let's bring it down and see what it looks like. There. And then this is going to go through here. So we might as well add another 11-0 on this side and go through that one. I'll try and find a nice big one, thick one. Put that on there. Okay, make sure we go through the correct one. So let's go through this. Actually, let's turn this, bring it all down. Actually, I have to mention Tammy always gives me little hints all the time saying, why don't you try this? And one of the things she said that just makes so much sense, because I would put stuff on my needle and potentially have it the wrong way on the needle, like go through the wrong hole, and then I'll get the whole thing woven in and go, oh, it's wrong, so I got to take it out. And she's like, maybe the next time you could try bringing everything down on your thread and then see what position it's in and then go through. So I was going to go through this side. It would have been backwards. I need to go through this side because everything's upside down now. Thank you, Tammy. I love you. What would I do without you? Well, I'd be cursing, trying to stick my needle through, poking my thread. So again, there, it's perfect. So I need another 11-0 here. Nice big one. And now I can go through the other side. Like that. There we go. I'm going to pull it through. Let's get this all, pull that in, and I need an 11-0 to go between these two. A nice big one. And then I'll pick up that. Oh, it's just underneath. It's like, why is it backwards? Oh my gosh, I need help. Seriously. So I'm just gonna go around a few times on this. So just go through everything again. So I can go through this one here. Let me bring it up a bit so you can see. So go through this one and the one next to it there, like that. I'm going to pull this down. There, pulled it together. So now I have to go through the 11-0 and through the slider. Through the 11-0 on this side. And looks like I went through the outer bead on that one and I didn't on the others, but it shouldn't be too bad. It's pretty small. Let's pull that all the way through. I probably put too much thread on, but I thought, I'll just cut one piece and then I'll cut this and use it for the clasp at the end. So this is pretty, I'm using 4-pound fire line, so it's pretty sturdy. So I am only going to go through twice with this, and this thing isn't that heavy. Although it does have some some weight to it. It's a solid piece of metal, looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go through that bead here, the 11-0 that's attached to the bracelet, and then I'm going to go down the middle and tie it off. Like that. Okay, I'm just going to bring everything tight. Let's take a look. Oh, that looks nice. Perfect. Lighting is really poor. There. So you could do it right next to it. This is what I did for this one. So that's what it looks like. I didn't add any seed beads. But what I found it did, and you can kind of see it here, first of all, there was lots of thread showing, and then it bunched all these together, and I didn't want to do that. So that's what it looks like on the back. So I felt like it needed to be cleaned up a bit. And definitely, you could probably, like, I even thought of kind of bezeling this whole thing, but you know what, it's supposed to be quick and simple. One of those, I like those. It's so cool when you do a simple bracelet like this. One, it doesn't use a lot of your supplies, and you don't need a whole lot of complicated beads and closures and stuff like that. It's kind of nice when you can just make something out of nothing. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, so we went and bought a stove this morning, and we went to the gym for our swim. I don't know how, on the way home from our swim, we were talking about, we bought one of those, like the polished steel finish, and up until now we had the white appliances, and but you know, they're kind of phasing them out, so they didn't have them in stock, and because we needed a stove right away, you know, my wife made the mistake of asking my opinion. So when we go shopping for like renovation stuff or appliances, things like that, like cars even, I'm like a magpie. I'm like, oh, that one's beautiful, let's get that. She's like, oh, you know, we need to look at the price. And so anyway, on the way home from the gym, so we ended up buying the steel one, the polished steel, for the stove. Now our fridge, we bought at the same time as our stove, so we really need a new one. So I think this is probably enough. I did 2 knots at 2 different spots. So I'm going to cut this now, and we'll do the clasp. So she said, you know, I think you had a good idea about the stove. You know, I was just thinking maybe what we should do is look at replacing our fridge, because the fridge is really old too. I mean, it's 10 years old. It's still working, but it just never worked for us when it came to the let me get this in here. When it came, I probably could have just put this all the way through. The freezer, we just got like the super cheap fridge, the cheapest they had, and so it never had enough room for storage. You couldn't make ice in it because there was no room to put ice cube trays. Now I only drink, my thread came out, I only drink coffee in the morning, and then I drink water the rest of the day. So I kind of wanted a fridge with a water dispenser and ice maker. She's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Because that would mean she'd have to install the water line. The fridge position is far away from the sink, so you hook it up to your water source. So you would have to run the line through the cupboards, and I already had her do that for the dishwasher. So, but anyway, so that was out, but she mentioned about getting the replacing the fridge and donating the old fridge to a charity. They have a furniture bank, and yeah, so let me get rid of this little tail. And so she called the guy. She found one at the same store that we just bought our stove. So she called the same guy that sold us the stove and said, so we have a solution to our our non-white stove. We're going to order the fridge to match. My heart is like racing and my chest hurts. I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. She's laughing. Usually she's the penny pincher. So I'm just gonna weave this on like that through there, and then I'm gonna jump over the first bead so that it holds it in place, and go through this one, and I have to go through the hole for the magnet clasp. Let me see if I can open this up a little space. Oh, you know, I've gone through there a few times. I could see the thread, so that's why I was having a hard time getting through. And it's hard because the magnet's sticking to the needle. I'm gonna have to pull this through, and then, oh, this is, okay. This is really, shouldn't be this difficult, but of course I'm doing this in front of the camera, so I apologize. So I did get a delivery today. Was not the delivery I expected. Okay, I'm going to go through the magnet. I always leave the other piece of the magnet on, and another trick you can do is just get another set as well, and then leave, because at this point I'm going to take this off and put it on the other side, but this way I could leave them both attached and then take the extra pieces off. So let's go through here, and I want to go through this all in one shot, but it's there. That's better. Let's pull it tight. You can't really see much anyway. These beads are so close together. So I'm just going to go through these guys one more time, and then go down the middle and tie it off. So yeah, I got a large order from AliExpress, and it is bicones. And so I already got a huge bicone order, but this one was from a seller I really liked, and when I did an order with this seller before, I just got some basic colors that I wanted, and then once I realized how good they were, I was like, okay, I've got to go back and place an order. And they sell them by the 1,000, so it's like $3 for 1,000. So that's Canadian, so that's like crazy how cheap that is. Okay, so now Actually, I might do a knot here and then go through. See if I can get this in here without too much of a mess. Okay, put my needle through. And we are almost done. There, like that. So that guy's in really nice. There we go, everybody's. Actually, these are a bit wobbly. I might go through here to, actually, I'm going to go this way. I think part of the problem is the tip of my needle is a bit bent down. So when I'm trying to go through, if it's bent down, if I don't turn it over, it won't go through. So let me just secure these guys. Go here. Yeah, see, it's bent down, so let me, that's what's happening, it's getting hooked. And I'm right, I've got a lot of stuff going on in here. There. Let's see if I can bend that. And I need to pull this out. Like that. So, yeah, that one's kind of loose. So I'm going to go through these guys and set up. That one's actually fine. Let's go down here. Oh yeah, that's crooked needle again. And I'll come through the middle. Kind of like to tuck it in the middle, that way you don't see anything. And let's do a little knot. And pull it through. That knotted before the thing had a chance to come through. Sometimes that happens. I was a little too quick on the draw there. There we go. And let's loosen that a bit. I'm just going to put it through a few here and then cut it. Okay, so I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to pause it while I do that because you really didn't see much on this side. They're so tiny. Ah, I'm stuck. Okay, I'll be right back. So there we go. This is done. So it turned out really nice. Just beautiful. I can't get over this. And there's the magnets. So you could use any color beads, and really the slider too, like I did 2 rows because I wanted it to kind of match this slider. Now you could actually do a 3rd row and it would probably make your slider look even bigger because it actually is kind of big, like it's high up. So, or you could do 2. So let's just see what that looks like. You could do like a cuff bracelet, So have these together and put 2 sliders in there. That would look really cool. So there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, you could even, for that matter, do 3. That would look really cool with a full cuff. I think because these stick out a bit on the sides, that maybe you would do, say, a row in the middle here where they connect, so that it would come up to about here. So you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. You could do 2 separate and then do some kind of bead weaving design in the middle too, with something totally different. So there's all kinds of options for this simple little slider that, you know, the only reason I got it was because it was turquoise, and I was like, oh, it looks really cool. I'm sure I could do something really neat with that. So thank you, Michaels. Thank you for your clearance sale. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, hang in there, everyone, and I will be back with a unboxing of my delivery of bicones. I've done them before, so if it's not something that interests you, by all means, just moving right along. But for some people, it might be interesting. So yeah, so I thought I'd do that. So there we go. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.